And we're back on the Off Duty podcast where we talk about health, lifestyle, and everything in between. Today, I am joined by
Watch it.
Steve.
And we have Kofi in the background. So today we have these whiteboard markers. You may be wondering what they are for. We are going to identify whether projected statements are going to be myth, fact, or somewhere in between. Maybe it's debatable. We'll find out. So the first thing we have is
sleeping under the fan bare-chested causes pneumonia.
Oh boy.
I'm struggling to. Okay, cool.
All right.
But everybody has heard this thing before.
Yeah.
Literally everybody.
It's always everywhere.
In fact, me, I agree. I'll show my office. Sleeping under the
What
fan.
do you think?
Sleeping under the fan and playing in the rain will give you pneumonia.
That's another one.
If you don't know, I'm telling you
That's
today.
another one.
That's the biggest. I don't even know. It's like the biggest myth.
Is there any direct routes we can link it to somehow? It directly is no, but is there one way or another we can say somehow?
Because if you think about pneumonia and what a pneumonia is, I don't know how sleeping under.
Okay, I think
The
if it's
fan.
one pneumonia.
So what is a
What's
pneumonia?
Okay, so essentially, pneumonia is infection within the lungs. So it could either be bacterial, viral. We have different types. But pneumonia essentially is infection within the lungs. So how does sleeping under the fan, bare-chested, lead you to have an infection within your lungs? Unless, of course, maybe indirectly, the fan carries some bacteria that once it blows, you inhale. That's the only way. But then,
I would
deep
just lay
down-
one fundamental rule.
Yeah.
A lot of myths that we have were put in place to sort of protect us
yeah,
or stop us from doing things that they
Yeah.
didn't want us to be doing.
yeah.
So, I mean, things like if you whistle at night.
Yeah, so like if you are when you're if you're bathing, you don't sing because
If you are bathing, you don't have to
Yeah,
sing when you're bathing because
yeah.
it will cause something. It's just because you want to protect, like you're bathing, they don't want soapy water to get in your
yeah.
mouth, or at night you'll be whistling and disturbing the neighbors and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I think that's something we should get out of the way.
Sweeping at night? What does
Sweeping at night. Yeah, you sweep money away.
Away.
You don't have enough visibility. There's not enough
Yeah.
light, so you may sweep money away.
That time they don't get floodlight or some chandelier, bro. So you know if you see.
You then your bobo go
there
sweep your
too,
money
Charlie.
away.
Yeah. So what's the consensus? What do you agree with?
I mean, this is definitely a myth.
Crazy.
Like they said, pneumonias are lung infections, and for you to get a lung infection, there has to be an organism that is infecting said lung. You can't get, unless the organism is moving from the fan, like through the air, and you're inhaling it, or even this rain thing is totally out.
Yeah.
But unless the pathogen finds its way through your respiratory system into your lungs, you will not be having a pneumonia. You will feel cold, you will feel shivery.
You feel like you're
Shivery
dying, but
shit,
you won't
no.
die.
In addition to that, because pneumonia is an infection, but we can have pneumonitis, similar to pneumonia. You can have a situation where a chemical is what is irritating your lung field, and your body is trying to more or less absorb whatever it is there that is during the lung space.
Yeah.
And so you can have a form of pneumonia secondary to that, not because there's a bacterium or there's a microbe that is lodged somewhere in your lungs. So yeah, just to add that bit.
Okay. So essentially, it's a myth.
That's clear. We'll do the next one.
Okay.
All right.
But drink.
Drinking medication with cold water doesn't make it effective.
I've heard this before,
I haven't.
bro.
I think I would just think about it in terms of just me. I'm only wondering about it now.
Yeah.
What is it supposed to do to the medication?
No, I'm not sure. And some people feel like they can't take medication with. So what do you?
Because I had a cousin. She used to take medicine with light soup.
Wow.
Yeah.
Medicine with light
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
That's
if
just
light soup no dey,
outrageous.
Hey.
If there's no light soup,
Whatever
nobody
works.
gives it.
I'll be surprised if people take medicine with alcohol or something.
So people take as long as it comes in a liquid form. In terms
Actually,
of whatever
not
they're
really.
taking it with.
When
People do that.
when I was younger, they used to put medication like bits of fufu. Like they'll hide it inside the fufu and they would feed it to you.
Yeah.
And
But I think those were just strategies because if you see the medication,
Yeah,
you wouldn't
because
want to
kids,
take it.
You wouldn't want to take it. So something to sweeten it a bit.
but like, what do you think would account for this kind of thinking?
Or maybe they feel like
For,
it would
for
be
water specifically or any
For water specifically, yeah.
nothing comes to mind really.
I'm thinking, well, maybe the body works at a certain temperature, and this
Yeah.
medication is going to work at a certain
certain
temperature. So taking the cold water might not make it as effective. Or
Yeah.
I've actually heard this thing about with food
Mm.
food absorption. Like if you drink water, the whole when are you supposed to drink water after you eat?
Yeah.
That if you drink cold water, it doesn't make the food absorb as much.
Yeah.
But I think all those enzymes have like certain points at which they activate.
They're most effective.
When you drink cold water, it's not going to stay cold water in your tummy
Exactly.
forever, right? It's going to
Yeah.
normalize and then
Zero's law of
become
thermodynamics.
what he said. And then it's going to
Yeah.
reach a certain temperature or environments where the organisms that are supposed to break down
Yeah.
said components will do. So I don't think it really has a bearing on
Yeah.
what it does for you.
Yeah.
Real.
So let me
Okay,
look at
so,
this. So are we showing
admit-
that? Are we showing it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
We didn't already.
I already
We already
showed
told that
my
you're
own.
wrong. Yeah.
Right.
Kontomire and turkey berry helps with anemia.
Wait, what's Teggy Berry?
Abedro. Kron Suswa. And
I
Abenkwa.
don't know what that is.
Wow.
We can't save him.
It's a charm. Yeah.
Wow.
For sure.
This is facts.
There's facts.
It's facts. Do you want to take us through how that happens?
I think
Wait,
it's just
let me try.
master.
How
What
you
do
don't know
you
what
even
it
know
is?
what
How do you know
it
it's a
is?
facts?
But I know what Kontomire is.
Okay.
So at least I can
So then that's you now. Tell us why.
Kontomire. So essentially, when it comes to anemia and medications or foods that will help you,
So what's anemia? For people who are wondering.
anemia is when your blood level is essentially low. When we talk about when you take a full blood count in a hospital, we are looking out for certain features, specifically your HB, your hemoglobin. It's the amount of a molecule that your body carries oxygen around in your body. So when it's low, that's when we say you're anemic. So averagely, when you look at your full blood counts, for most people, we want to see it above 11, 11.5, for men 12. And so when it's lower than that, then you're anemic. Back to your question.
So how does Kontomire help with them?
Kontomire should contain some basic elements like iron, and that should help your body utilize it for building
Yeah.
the necessary molecules.
Yeah. But so and with the turkey berry or the abedro, Kron Suswa, usually most people will blend it, sieve it, and then drink. But the thing about it is, what we need to know is that in certain cases of anemia, only this wouldn't help. Because if you have like an HB of maybe like 6 or 7, you can't rely on turkey berries alone. You may need other interventions like blood transfusion or other things. But then, all in all, this does help with anemia if it's at a certain point in terms of the HB level. So I think yes.
So I think just to buttress your points, that means that it will boost your HB or your blood in the time that you use it. So usually for when you aren't in immediate need of said blood. So it can maintain your levels, it keeps you healthy, and you can do that on everyday basis, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in addition to that, because your body also utilizes certain elements like vitamin B12 and folic acid
Yeah.
in building your blood, essentially.
Yeah.
And for an average person, our diet contains these things. We don't need anything additional. But what happens is that in the case of anemia, specifically in females, we can attribute it to most of the time blood loss from their menstrual cycle. Men don't have an outlet for bleeding. Iron doesn't have an excretory route or a way of coming out of the body. For most things we take in, the body tends to take them out through maybe the kidney when we pee, or our stool when we pass the feces. But iron is not taken out of the body unless you bleed, as it were. It is not excreted. So for females necessarily, because they bleed monthly, if you have some of these things in your diet, it will build up your blood, the deficit you have, maybe like an HB of 1, an anemia of maybe 10, 9 or something. It will help. But of course, it's not going to be significant in severe anemia.
Exactly. All right. So, all facts.
Yeah.
So if you cook in an iron pot,
Bro,
You become Iron Man.
if you cook it, bro, I don't hear
yes
this.
or no?
Wow.
Alcohol is a potent appetite booster.
A BDD.
Jolly good.
Bro.
Wow.
Interesting.
How is it interesting?
Quite interesting. A fact. Because we see it all the time.
Is that true though?
I don't believe it.
You are supposed to choose on your own. Why are you asking?
I'm asking because okay, we'll get to it. Get to it.
Yeah. All right.
Are you ready to display?
Yeah. Review.
Ready.
3, 2, 1, go. Hooray!
Oh, see.
Same. So we all agree on this.
Yeah, at least we agree on this.
All right. But why do
You want
people
to-
still do it then?
No,
For somebody without
you have to-
alcohol, they can't eat without taking
so
alcohol.
you have to go through what the alcohol actually does and why we think it affects appetite and all
Yeah.
of that. Do you want to help us?
Who?
You
Who
take
it. Who take it?
See, the reason why I'm passing this on is I don't know the effects, the personal effect of taking alcohol. I haven't.
Neither do I.
I don't take it, so I don't know what it
Yeah.
feels like.
But you went to school. You went to the school. What do you mean by you don't take it? You have to take it to know.
If you take alcohol, it should make you malnourished.
Alcohol has empty calories. Carry on.
Carry
on.
You go take it.
No.
No, so he's added to. So let's just go on.
So if anything at all, there are certain molecules that your body requires in the digestion of the food that we eat to produce the energy that we need from the food we take. Alcohol tends to consume most of these. So if anything at all, it draws away from your body's ability to utilize food you take in. So I don't quite get the concept of assuming that it will boost your appetite.
So this is more is like more medium term, medium to long term.
Yeah.
Yes, this mechanism you are talking
Yeah.
about.
Right.
But the immediate drink
one.
right now to is
You
your-
can
That's
look
what I'm
at it.
saying.
You can
That's
look
what
at
I'm
it
saying.
from the serotonin point of view or the
Correct.
dopamine point of view. Where if you take alcohol, it sort of increases your dopamine, gets you excited, gets you more on edge, more or less,
That's what I'm saying. I
to
don't
face
know
the food.
how that experience is like, because I haven't
No,
felt
but you're looking at it from why. So even not with appetite, why do people take alcohol? For those effects, serotonin, dopamine, feel good, on top of the world. It's about to face his bowl of whatever, fufu or whatever.
so that will boost
He wants to
it.
feel good. And so it doesn't essentially increase appetite. Because even if you're looking at the hunger, like the hunger pathway or whatever, we have the cephalic phase and the others, where before you even see the food, you start salivating.
Yeah.
The moment you think about the food, you start salivating. So for that point, if you are going to increase the cephalic phase or increase that appetite, alcohol is more or less like a short-term pathway to more or less increase the salivation and how do I
don't
put
get
it?
the link.
No. See,
I do not get the link.
But what I'll say is that, when you do a thing, like if I say that I am doing this thing to yield me this benefit,
Yeah.
whether it is right or wrong, at a certain point, there's some credence lent to it because I think that this is
Yeah.
what I am going to get out
Yeah,
of it.
okay.
So if I attribute it to it closely enough and I say that if I drink so and so shots of alcohol before I eat, it makes me eat a lot. It's because when you don't have said alcohol, you don't have that same
Yeah.
So that would be
feeling
conditional.
inside
It
you.
tricks your
Yeah,
mind
so
sort
that's
of.
it's a
conditional.
conditional type of thing. So
Yeah.
every time now you are going to eat, you
Okay.
feel like you
Yeah.
need
So you
to.
set yourself up to want to.
Like
Eat
Pavlov
more.
and the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What's Pavlov?
Don't you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. But once you
The
said
one
that,
that-
the audience will
Challenge,
know
challenge.
what that
So
is.
it was some test where Pablo used to bring food, rings a bell,
Mhm.
and the dog comes to eat.
Yeah.
So now the dog associated a bell being rang with food.
Food being ready.
Yeah.
What
So if you associate alcohol with eating, whenever there's food, you would want to take alcohol because you feel like that is what it comes with. So like the
Wow.
conditioning more. or
What's
less.
that called? Well, conditioning. What kind of
Classical
conditioning?
conditioning.
Classical conditioning.
Classical conditioning. Yeah.
So-
So-
I read something funny that said, so did Pavlov think about feeding his dog every time he heard a bell?
The reverse of it.
That's true. That's actually an interesting one.
Sure.
But we do have something, as well.
Count.
All right, so it looks like it's more of a behavioral and neurological effect. So it impairs judgment. So people tend to increase their snacking, especially high calorie foods, and it activates your reward center. So when you're hungry and you're taking alcohol, you feel that you've satisfied your reward center, so you want more food. But no, it's actually a calorie dense drink. So you actually feel fuller and have more energy after taking alcohol. So when you're hungry, it doesn't help you.
Okay. So definitely a myth then.
Is that what you read?
Wait, hold on.
Because that sounds like it's fact. That sounds
Yeah.
like
It sounds like
that
it's a
sounds
fact.
like if you drink the alcohol because you satisfy the name.
It doesn't boost appetite because it's calorie dense.
It just
Okay,
gives you
okay,
just
okay,
gives you the energy
Okay,
then.
that's fine.
All right,
Wait.
cool.
This bit may or may not show up in it, but you said 0 calories and you're saying calorie dense.
I said it's empty calories. You
Empty.
have the calories,
Uh-huh.
but they are
It
not
doesn't-
nutritious.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just empty calories.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Antibiotics can be stopped mid-course as long as one feels better.
So like all the answers are going to be the same.
It's not a myth.
I want something that is stronger than me.
It's not a myth.
It's sacrilegious.
Erroneous.
You go see my own. Man. So I showed it.
Uh,
I'm ready to show it.
we can go 3, 2, 1. It is erroneous ideology. Never do this. Like antibiotics are given out in a course for a reason. There's supposed to be a total control of whatever organism is responsible for causing the illness, right? If you feel better, that means that you are making progress, you are recovering, but you are not completely healed. So if you stop the course midway, said organism can recover and reinfect you. And at the time of reinfection, it becomes immune to whatever drug you were taking before. And that's how come we see people with antibiotic resistance. Generally, like they do a test, whether it's a urine test or it's a blood test, because they sample so many different antibiotics but do not complete them. The organisms become immune to those antibiotics. So sometimes they get an infection and all the antibiotics that are being tested for are resistant. And basically, you cannot find treatment for such a person,
Yeah.
which is outrageous.
Yeah. But I think it's not just antimicrobials in general. Even the popular artemether lumefantrine is an anti-parasitic for malaria. Somebody will take the anti-malarials like 2-3 days because they are fine, they'll just stop. And somebody will take an antibiotic. Antibiotics is actually the most common one people will take. But I think we need to talk about how healthcare workers also contribute to this antimicrobial resistance, because I've seen people who have had maybe a head injury, or maybe they had a fall, some sprain, and they come to the hospital. They are taking diclofenac and then amoxiclav for the sprain.
Really?
Yeah,
For-
it's very
For
common.
some reason, we think that antibiotics
Like-
will solve all problems.
Challenge.
Most
What
of
is prescribers?
you see this,
That's the
even
thing.
even the local, those concoctions and things that
Yeah.
they sell along the street,
Yeah.
they are being infused with antibiotics
Yeah.
amongst other things.
For real.
And so even this antibiotic resistance complaint isn't just a thing with orthodox medication.
Right.
Even unorthodox medication comes with a lot of
True.
things mixed in
Yeah.
with them, and it's outrageous because you never know what could be in what you are taking that can lead to later problems.
Yeah.
Because if you do a septic screen and you are resistant to meronym and all these
You're done.
you're done. You're basically done. All these
Yeah,
high class antibiotics. That means we basically don't have anywhere to go from there.
Oh yeah.
See, this is my problem with the drug stores, because you can call these pharmacies sometimes and ask for certain medications. A friend of mine and I were talking about this yesterday. She called to ask about tranexamic acid from a pharmacy, and they wanted to know if she had a prescription before they would tell her the price at least.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to certain pharmacies, they regulate these things very well. But
Yeah.
some, just because they'll make their profit, they will sell you anything. You walk in and you say that you have a particular complaint. Instead of directing you to the hospital, we just serve you anything at all. So people walk away with all sorts of medications that they shouldn't have. Antifungals,
Yeah.
antibiotics.
Have pharmacies at home in
Bro.
their fridge. Yeah.
And at these days,
Definitely.
they'll add this thing, the probiotics to the antibiotics.
Yeah.
With the assumption, okay, they are covering your gut and protecting you. So
But
they'll give you
Yeah.
send these.
That's like
True.
neutral, oh.
True. Yeah. That's
And it's
very
assumed that
true.
they are neutralizing the effect.
Yeah.
But they're just harming people.
But you see,
Anyway.
when you look at Ghanaians or people, their first point of call when they have an issue is the pharmacy. They barely go to the hospital before, because every time you see somebody come to the hospital, oh, I had this and I went to the pharmacy and they gave me this. It's not working, so I've come to the hospital. So it's like more like a systemic issue where the ease of access will not force somebody to come to the hospital
Sure.
for the first time. And then when they go to the pharmacy too, they are being sold the medication because the pharmacy has to make the money, which is wrong anyway, because I don't think it's ethical
This
to
is how
do that.
Some people come to the hospital and they feel you've not attended to them because they didn't walk away with
Antibiotics,
No matter
definitely.
how we explain to them that you
Bro.
don't need it.
They say, oh, doctor, oh, mommy, I did there, me fan antibiotic, me you okay.
I say, doctor,
That's not what you
Some
need.
people actually fight you.
doctor, you
Yeah.
doing quite now the mommy. Ensumio.
Antibiotic, be on come home.
Are you not here before?
I hear it all the time.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
What we think is therapeutic for us and what actually may be therapeutic for us may not be the
May
same.
not be the same.
Difference in
Yeah.
volume.
So, funny enough, I think this was 2024. I attended a conference where they spoke about antibiotic resistance and how that's impacting us and how very soon we are going to be in trouble because
Yeah.
we don't have antibiotics to
Yeah.
fight against the infections that are coming up, right? And then someone contributed that there had been a policy before, right, for antimicrobial resistance, how
Yeah.
to manage it.
Yeah.
And this policy had not only come up, but had the time frame for the policy had even elapsed, right?
Yeah.
And it hadn't been enforced, which just speaks to what our health system is like, or what our health behavior in general,
Yeah.
right? We leave certain things to people's consciences or goodwill, and for the most part, these entities are businesses,
Yeah.
right? And they're out to make money.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, if everybody wants an antibiotic with whatever ailments they are going through, that just means more sales for them. If I can provide you with the antibiotic. So those are the things that move very quickly. Antibiotics, antimalarials, the benzodiazepines, like people will go and buy it and be sleeping and be hooked on it and all of that. And they know that they are supposed to get prescriptions for these things, but a lot of people overlook it. The question is, what do we do? What do we do in trying to manage those things as a system, not just, oh, please don't do this.
This is more for the policymakers. On our level, as prescribers, we can limit what we give our patients. But on the policy level, these pharmaceutical companies and pharmacies or drug shops or drug stores need to be regulated better than it currently is. And I don't know if that is going to change anytime soon.
But you see, even with the policymakers, it's not just there, because now there are a lot of hospitals springing up which becomes more profit oriented.
Right.
You work in a facility where they tell you that actually this month antibiotics are not moving. Oh, try and prescribe it for us. But if the patient doesn't need the antibiotic, you want me to prescribe because you have to meet your profit target for the month.
And this is not a story, because this has actually happened to me, and I had to quit working at a hospital because they expected me to be given antibiotics. And this guy was using the most outrageous. He was using like the percentage differentials in the white cell counts.
Yeah.
Like if it's like he was using like if neutrophil crosses 50%, it means Obinya infection. Like I'm like, these things exist for a reason. Like you need to know how to read the lab tests and interpret them appropriately.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are shifts in these percentages, and then you read the absolute counts, and then you're able to. This guy said like, so you don't wait. You don't wait till it gets there, and then I had to quit because there's no way we are going to see eye to eye.
It changes your behavior as a prescriber and as a doctor. So yeah, for antimicrobial antibiotics, please never do it. Don't stop mid-course because you're fine. Complete the course and go and get tested again to make sure that you actually don't have the infection and it's been cleared by the medication.
Yep.
All right.